Let me now quickly go across to Israel to try and get some sort of a quick snap reaction as to what the feeling there is. Asaf Yehelskeli, senior journalist, now joining us from Israel. Thanks a lot for being with us. We were just hearing the Israeli ambassador to India saying that this is really got the mark of Iran and Hezbollah behind us. How's this attack been received in Israel? What are people saying there?
Well, I must tell you that it is not my job to report on behalf of the Iranians, but I think the most important piece of information came from the Iranian news agency via Reuters just a few minutes ago, quoting the Iranian ambassador to New Delhi.
As saying that any terrorist attack is condemned by Iran, and we strongly reject the untrue comments by the Israeli officials, which means that this is an official Iranian condemnation as well as rejection of the nature of this attack, which is something that probably Israeli officials will react on later as we proceed throughout the evening. What we are seeing in Israel in these last couple of hours are what we've spoken about also the last time we spoke, are high-level consultations taking place on the political level between the Prime Minister and his advisors, and on the military level between the IDF Chief of Staff and his advisors. We have been briefed about a cabinet meeting that is due to take place some kind, maybe later this evening or tomorrow morning. In this cabinet meeting, of course, the Prime Minister will be speaking with Foreign Minister Lieberman, with Defense Minister Barak, and with other senior ministers, and they will be briefed on the information that was brought to them by their Indian counterparts, as the Indian Foreign Minister, Mr. Krishna, has just said.
Asaf, of course, it is the case that Iran has been behind a lot of the recent terror attacks on Israel, but Iran's not alone. There are other groups that have targeted Israel in the past, the Palestinians, obviously, even groups like the Lashkar-e-Toiba, as in Mumbai. So do you think at some point there'll also be some waiting to see, are we sure this is Iran, or could this possibly be somebody else?
Well, I'm sure that it all depends on the results of the forensic tests and the exact kind of explosive that was used. It can be either, it might be traced back to either Al-Qaeda operatives or on Yemen, but everyone believes that there are higher and bigger chances that it will be traced either to the kind of explosives that are used by Hezbollah or by the Iranian Revolutionary Guards. I mean, the Iranian ambassador to India can reject and condemn, but we know that the system in Iran is using this very separate form of government that is done by the Revolutionary Guards. The Revolutionary Guards in Iran have their own intelligence gathering apparatus. They have their own means of taking out into action this kind of assassination attempts. And I guess we all have to wait, but it is rather obvious that the culprits have either Hezbollah or Iranian fingerprints on them.
All right. Just to stay on with us for a couple of minutes, I want to welcome our other guests here. Renuka Chaudhary, thank you so much for coming in and joining us as well, both on this issue, and then a short while from now, we're going to be talking about black money as well, as indeed we will with Ashish Khaitan. Fantastic to have you with us. You've been working on a whole range of stories. This, of course, terror also being one of the areas that you've been closely focusing on. And B. Raman, one of the country's top counter-terrorism experts, also joining us from Chennai. Mr. Raman, just wanted to ask you first, we're hearing what the Israeli side is saying, the fingerprints of Iran and Hezbollah all over this. Would you tend to agree with that, or would you be somewhat surprised if it was in fact Iran and Hezbollah that were striking here in India? Having said that, of course, Iran has been targeting Israeli interests in the recent past.
Now, I would like to mention in the past there have been instances of Sunni terrorist groups having been found planning a terrorist attack on the Israeli embassy in Delhi. For example, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who had orchestrated the 9/11 terrorist strikes, had told the Americans during interrogation at the Guantanamo Bay Detention Center that he had visited Delhi to explore the possibility of a terrorist attack on the Israeli embassy in Delhi, but it was not carried out because they found the security there was very tight. And Headley also had mentioned that during the visit which he made to India after the 26/11 terrorist strikes, he had explored the possibility of more terrorist attacks on Israeli interests and targets in India, including on the Israeli Airlines office in Mumbai. So there have been specific instances of Sunni terrorist groups in the past planning attacks on Israeli targets, including the Israeli embassy in Delhi.
Okay.
But there has so far been no evidence of any Shia terrorist group having planned a terrorist attack on Israeli interests, because if it is Hezbollah, as believed by the Israelis, as suspected by them, is an essentially Shia terrorist organization.
Okay.
In the past, in 1980s, there have been instances of involvement of Shias in terrorist attacks in Kashmir, but not outside Kashmir. So if for carrying out a terrorist attack, if Iran or Hezbollah had done it, they need local support. They need the support of some Shias here. I cannot think of any instance where Iran has used the Sunnis for carrying out a terrorist attack outside their territory. So they should have had the support of some Shia element in India or Pakistan for carrying out the terrorist strike.
NDTV's cricket app, Android and iPhone. Fastest scorecard, special analysis, and much more. Download free. ndtv.com/apps.